Hey guys, Jacob Ober here. Welcome to my 2018 first round playoff series preview between the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. This is a very, very exciting series for both teams, one that is going to be very contested and one that I think will come down to one of the final two games of the series. I'm going to start you off with a little bit of a scouting report here. I have some notes right here in front of me, so without further ado, we'll get underway here. So the season series between this team, they played 4 games. It was split 2-2. The Bucks won the first matchup, the Celtics won the next 2, and the Bucks finished off the season series with a victory on April 3rd at Milwaukee. The Boston Celtics come into the playoffs with a 55-27 record. Their head coach is Brad Stevens. They are the second seed in the East. Their offensive rating is 107.6. And their defensive rating is 103.9. Their offensive rating ranks 18th out of 30 in the league, and their defensive rating is number 1 out of 30 in the league. Projected starting lineup here for the postseason, Terry Rozier, who is averaging 11.3, 4.7, 2.9 slash. That's points, rebounds, assists, if you don't know. Rozier averaging 13.9, 5.0, and 1.6. Al Horford averaging 12.9, 7.4, 4.7. Jaylen Brown averaging 14.5, 5.0, 1.6. And Aaron Baines averaging 6.0, 5.3, and 1.1. So this is a Boston Celtics team that is not at full strength right now. They have lost a lot of key pieces, and the big ones obviously are Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward getting injured in the first game, breaking his leg. That was a very unfortunate injury for the Celtics, and certainly they would have had that he would have been a difference maker in this series had he played. And Kyrie Irving, who was another big one, they picked up this offseason during a trade with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kyrie Irving, he had a knee issue, I believe. I can't remember exactly what he did, but he is requiring season-ending knee surgery that's going to put him out for the entire playoffs this season. And Marcus Smart, I'm not exactly sure how Marcus Smart got injured, but he could return by April 27th, which would be in the middle of the series. Marcus Smart is averaging 10.2 points a game, 3.5 rebounds a game, and 4.8 assists per game. And a player off the bench to watch for the Celtics, Marcus Morris, who is averaging 13.6 a game, 5.4 a game, and 1.3 a game. And an unheralded player that I think the Bucks should be scared of, I think it's Greg Monroe. And a lot of Bucks fans remember Greg Monroe. He was with the team for a few years. He was traded at the beginning of this season for Eric Bledsoe. He is averaging 10.2, 6.3, and 2.3. He's a former Buck, obviously, and his size especially is a mismatch for the Bucks' interior defense. So the Bucks need to be sure that they're defending him with like their best defender. I would recommend Giannis, but I mean, if Henson's going one-on-one with Monroe in the paint, it's over. So we'll go on to the Bucks now. The Bucks come into the series with a 44-38 record. Their head coach is Joe Prunty. Jason Kidd was their former head coach, but fired mid-season after a 23-22 start. They're the 7th seed in the East. They have an offensive rating of 109.8, which ranks 9th out of 30th. They have a defensive rating of 110.1, which ranks 19th out of 30. Their defense has been a very big concern this year. They have had games where they have looked very good on defense, but have games where they looked very awful on defense. Their starting lineup is projected into the series. Eric Bledsoe averaging 17.8, 3.9, and 5.1. Tony Snell averaging 6.9, 1.9, and 1.3. And that is not the best stat line, I can tell you that, for a starter. Chris Middleton averaging 20.1, 5.2, and 4.0. Giannis Antetokounmpo averaging 26.9, 10.0, and 4.8, and John Henson averaging 8.8, 6.8, and 1.5. The Bucks are finally at full strength entering the postseason. It's felt like a long time for the Bucks. They are at full strength. They have no significant injuries, and you could see Malcolm Brogdon and/or Jabari Parker make some starts during the series. Malcolm Brogdon, in his action this season, has averaged 13.0, 3.3, and 3.2, and Jabari Parker, since returning at the end of January, is averaging, or maybe it was after the trade. No, it was at the end of January, never mind. Jabari Parker averaging 12.6, 4.9, and 1.9. And a player off the bench that could scare the Celtics, I am going to go with Shabazz Muhammad, who is averaging 8.5, 2.8, and 0.6. That stat line does not exactly pop out at you, but he, in his limited minutes this year, he provides instant offense off the bench, can provide a spark if the Bucks are struggling on the offensive end. And he's a difference maker, a guy who you look back and say, hey, he might have been the reason the Bucks were able to pull this game out. Overall, though, my official prediction for this series, even though it sounds very cliche amongst Bucks fans, I'm going with the Bucks in 6 games. And the reason for that is I think that Milwaukee, at maximum strength, playing with full effort, is a better team than Boston playing at maximum strength and full effort. Boston is a very balanced team, but they are very mediocre offensively, and I think that the Bucks are going to be able to score points against their defense. Even though their defense is very, very good, I think that the Bucks have a lot of star power on the offensive end, and if they get a lot of ball movement going and play as a team, then they are going to score a lot of points. I think that the Bucks are going to come into the series. I think they're going to be, I bet you they're going to sleepwalk into the first game, and that's why I'm taking that Celtics to win the first game of the series. But after that first game, I think the first game is going to be a wake-up call for the Bucks. This team playing at full strength is, and with a mentality of win or go home, elimination, I think this team is incredibly tough to beat. And that first game, I think, is going to be a wake-up call for the team. And they have the best player on the court, and something I've always believed is that if you have the best player on the court, or the best player in the series, you have the best chance at winning the series. And that's not always true, but I think the Bucks have the best player in Giannis Antetokounmpo. They have the most star power, and really this team playing at its absolute best is very, very hard to beat. Boston has the edge in coaching, but on the court, I think the Bucks are the more talented team, and I think they are going to advance to the second round in 6 games. I'm going to pick Celtics to win the first game, the Bucks in Game 2, the Bucks in Game 3, and the Bucks in Game 4. I'll pick the Celtics to win Game 5, and the Bucks are going to win Game 6 at home and advance to the second round. So let me know what you guys think of my prediction. I tried to be very reasonable. I know I'm a Bucks fan, and that a lot of people are saying, oh, you're just picking the Bucks because you're a Bucks fan. But I honestly believe the Bucks are going to win this series. I think they are a better team overall. Now, obviously, with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward and Marcus Smart, I think that the Celtics would obviously be the better team and probably pull this series out. But Milwaukee is a very, very talented team, and if they've had stretches where they just really don't play together. And if Milwaukee is playing together, if they're playing at full effort, which I know is a lot to ask for this team at times, but playoffs are a wake-up call. The playoffs are a different animal. The Bucks have some playoff experience, and the Celtics have a lot of younger guys on their team. So this is a very good opportunity for the Bucks to get their first series win in 17 years. They haven't won a series since they won the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Charlotte Hornets. Or maybe it was the New Orleans Hornets. I think it was the Hornets, but they beat them in 2001, and that was a very, very big series win for them. But that was the last time the Bucks actually won a playoff series. I am predicting them to win this series. I think the Bucks are going to end up beating the Boston Celtics, and they're going to move on to the first round. So, tried to be as impartial as I could, and I honestly believe that, even as a Bucks fan, or just looking at it from a impartial standpoint, I really think the Bucks are overall the better team. So, anyways, guys, that's all I have to say in this video. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions in the comment section below. I want to know what you guys think is going to happen. Are the Bucks going to move on, or are the Celtics going to take it? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and as always, follow me on Twitter at Oversports41512, and I'll see you guys next time.